Okay, the next one on my calendar is A21-844-652C, Anne Marie Echevarria versus Zaon Collins. Can the council make their appearances, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Paterno Jurani for defending Collins.
Do you have anybody for plaintiff?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I just jumped on. I'm filling in. Joseph Chu, 11082 for the plaintiff.
Okay, are you ready, or do you need me to trail you guys a couple minutes?
I'm as ready as I'll be now or later, so.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you where we were with discovery on this case.
Yeah, I'll defer to my colleague a bit. My understanding is discovery was stayed pending the criminal matter. There was a motion to that effect that was originally denied but granted on reconsideration. I was advised that Mr. Latta has had discussions with Mr. Cannon about resuming discovery at this stage, and my understanding is that there's not much objection at this point, but again, I'll defer to my colleague. He may be able to speak a little more educated than I am on the matter.
Well, not much, Your Honor, unfortunately. As far as discovery being stayed, per our motion, it was actually only granted in part as to the deposition of Mr. Collins. I believe that written discovery had been propounded and responded to, but I can't say I'm 100% sure of that.
Okay. Do you want to respond before I ask a question, Mr. Chu?
I mean, we're ready to proceed in discovery in full course, Your Honor. We had held off on most material fronts, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I saw when I looked through the minutes is that Judge Barker did order that all discovery was to proceed except for the deposition of defendant Collins. But no discovery's been going on?
I know that we did propound written discovery. I thought it had not been responded to, but I may be mistaken. I believe that getting the deposition of Mr. Collins done was pretty critical in terms of everything else in discovery falling into place. But we're ready to proceed with that and everything else that will follow thereafter.
Okay, so I'll order today that there's going to be no more stay, because it sounds like you're in agreement to. Is everybody in agreement to proceeding, or no?
No, Your Honor, not as to the deposition of Mr. Collins. No.
Okay. So what's the status of the? I guess, is it the criminal issue that held it up?
Yes, I don't currently have the status of the criminal matter right now.
Okay. This is a 21 case. Are you able, like, you should still be able to engage in other discovery right now without producing him for deposition, correct, Mr. Jurani?
Well, I mean, obviously, Your Honor, we had moved to stay all discovery, and it was only granted to the deposition of Mr. Collins. So, we have no choice as to being able to move forward, I suppose.
Okay. Trying to look for the current scheduling order. Because I've got an October trial date for this.
Yeah, Your Honor, if I may interject, we did serve written discovery back in April of 2022. There were responses served to the requests for admission only, is what I'm seeing, but not to the interrogatories or to the request for production. I understand that if there's concern about responding to the interrogatories insofar as they're coming from Mr. Collins and they're trying to protect that testimony in the same manner as they are the deposition testimony, I understand, but nevertheless, that was not part of the order. And we are kind of stymied in, certain expert retention matters and things like that without being able to obtain some form of testimony from him, written or verbal.
I'm trying to also find your dates and deadlines in this case too, because if you served discovery back in April of 2022, 10 months ago,
Yeah, let's see. My understanding is we are right up against our deadlines as we.
was the initial expert deadline of December 7th extended?
I do not see anything to that effect, Your Honor.
Okay, so the initial expert deadline is passed, correct?
It would appear so. I don't know if there was something worked out between Mr. Cannon and Mr. Latta to that end, but
Okay.
I'm seeing the
I'm
same.
not
dates.
gonna. I understand your case has been on a stay, so and it was on a, essentially on a stay with discovery. So I'm not gonna say that you can't disclose experts now, but I do want to talk about that a little bit. Mr. Jurani, are you able to produce responses to the written discovery that was sent to you from plaintiff's counsel?
Your Honor, I don't know that I can answer that. I'm not the primary attorney on this case. I don't know what discussions had been had between Mr. Cannon and Mr. Latta.
Okay, let's talk for a second. I don't want the case to be completely stalled here, but I understand that there might be an issue, that there is obviously an issue that Judge Barker found that there was that warranted the stay. So what I'm trying to figure out, and if I don't have counsel that can answer the question today, then we need to set a date where we can give counsel here that can answer the questions, is how we move forward with discovery, what we are able to do, and we probably need to set out some other dates. Mr. Jurani, is it Mr. Cannon that would know better than you, or is there another attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I guess my question is, if we reset this 30 days out, can somebody be there from defense that can kind of give a much better idea of what you can and can't do, so that we can move forward a little bit with this?
Your Honor, even if I'm the one covering that hearing, I'll make sure I'm prepared for that. We were not, when the motion for reconsideration was granted, the judge had granted, as I said, in part, and then set the status check. There was no actual discussion about what the topics of this status check would be. He just said it.
Okay, because the minutes that I have that I'm reading said that discovery stayed as to the deposition of defendant Collins, all of the discovery shall proceed. So if you're in a position where you can't complete other discovery, then that's what we need to talk about. And I need somebody here that knows about the case from the defense side, because it seems like that's where the holdup is. As far as, I mean, you've got the discovery requests that you got in April, that they sent out in April of 2022, right?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's set a hearing for 30 days out. At that hearing, I want somebody from defense counsel to be there and to be able to talk knowledgeably about whether or not those discovery responses can be produced, and what other discovery can be done in this case. I'm going to do my best to respect Judge Barker's order. I understand, but all it really says too is that the deposition is stayed. So there should be other discovery continuing. When we meet back in 30 days too, I want to set new deadlines, dates and deadlines, because obviously that December initial disclosure is gone. But I'm guessing that there wasn't any experts disclosed in this case yet, right?
This is Joe Chu for Plaintiff, Your Honor. You're correct. It appears that way.
Okay. I'm seeing if there was any extensions to those deadlines yet, but I'm not seeing any. Okay. So, yeah, we'll actually, you know what, Mr. Jurani, if we reset this for next week, will you be prepared to talk about that then, rather than hold this up for 30 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What does my schedule look like next week? Is it crazy? Tuesday. Okay. Let's put him at the 10 o'clock on Tuesday. We're gonna put you at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, next Tuesday.
February 28th at 10 a.m.
There's a few matters already on my calendar that day, which is why I'm putting it at the 10 a.m. and not the 9 a.m. But please be prepared to talk about this, what can go forward, and what your position is to as what cannot, if your claim is that you can't answer those discovery responses. And I will put you guys last on the calendar, okay, for 2/28, 10 a.m.
Excellent.
Any
Thank you, Judge.
questions?
No,
Nothing
Your Honor,
further.
thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Judge.